like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because men are the most dangerous animals of all.
I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death. Dear editor, I am the killer of the two teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman.
Taunting police and making threats through letters sent to area newspapers, claiming to have killed as many as 37 people. That is the story of the Zodiac Killer. Our story begins on August 1st, 1969. The San Francisco Examiner, San Francisco Chronicle, and Vallejo Times Herald each received an identical handwritten letter in an envelope without a return address. Beginning, Dear Editor, I am the killer of the two teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman. The letters contain details from the Zodiac Killer's murders that only the perpetrator could have known. The killer went on to threaten further attacks if the letters weren't printed on the front page of the papers. Each letter closed with a symbol consisting of a circle with a cross through it, in what would come to be known as the Zodiac Killer symbol. The letters were also each accompanied by one part of a three-part cipher that he claimed contained his identity. While Bay Area police departments, with the support of the FBI, worked feverishly to track down the killer, another letter soon arrived at the San Francisco Examiner. Beginning, Dear Editor, this is the Zodiac speaking. It also described the murders in detail and taunted police for not having been able to crack his code or catch him. Several days later, high school teacher Donald Harden and his wife, Betta, were able to solve the cipher. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. Three days after the fourth known Zodiac killing, the 1969 murder of taxi driver Paul Stein, the San Francisco Chronicle received a letter claiming the crime. Written in the same erratic print as the Zodiac's previous letters, it gave the details of Stein's murder and was accompanied by a bloody scrap of Stein's shirt. At the end of the letter, the killer mused that he would next shoot out the tire of a school bus and pick of the kiddies as they come bouncing out. The Zodiac Killer continued his taunting correspondence with Bay Area papers, in which he included more ciphers, claimed to have committed several more murders, and mocked the police for their inability to catch him in 1974. The letters stopped, though the investigation continues to this day. 4 separate attacks involving 7 people have been definitively attributed to the Zodiac Killer. The first confirmed incident took place on the night of December 20, 1968, when 17-year-old David Faraday and his 16-year-old girlfriend, Betty Lou Jensen, were shot to death near their car at a remote spot on Lake Herman Road, on the outskirts of Vallejo, California. Police were baffled, unable to determine the motive for the crime or a suspect. At least 5 other murders have been tentatively linked to the Zodiac Killer, including the 1963 shooting of Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards near Santa Barbara, California, and the 1966 stabbing death of college student Sherry Jo Bates in Riverside, California. With descriptions from witnesses who had seen a man leaving the scene of Paul Stein's 1969 murder, police were able to create and circulate a composite sketch of the killer. But despite mounting evidence and the investigation of numerous suspects, the Zodiac remained at large. More than 5 decades after the Faraday-Jensen murders, no suspect has ever been arrested. The inability to identify the Zodiac Killer has continued to frustrate law enforcement. The mystery surrounding the Zodiac case also continues to fascinate the public and has inspired more than its fair share of theories regarding the killer's identity. Ranging from plausible to absurd, these include the claims that he was Unabomber Ted Kaczynski or convicted murderer Charles Manson, or that he eventually moved to Scotland and committed more murders there before finding happiness and giving up his wicked ways. True crime author and former San Francisco Chronicle cartoonist Robert Graysmith wrote 2 separate works on the Killer 1986's Zodiac and 202's Zodiac Unmasked, ultimately identifying a man named Arthur Lee Allen as the most likely suspect. Allen died in 1992, however, and was never conclusively connected to any of the murders. In 2014, HarperCollins published The Most Dangerous Animal of All by Gary L. Stewart, in which he claims that his father, Earl von Betz Jr., who bears a strong resemblance to the man in the police sketch, was the Zodiac Killer. Louis Myers is another man came forward in 2014 to reveal that a friend named Louis Myers had confessed to being the killer before his death in 2002. Certain events in Myers' history matched up with those connected to the Zodiac, but as with Allen and Van Best, there was no conclusive proof. In October 2021, a team of 40 former law enforcement investigators called the Case Breakers claimed to have identified the Zodiac Killer. They believed that Gary Francis Post, who died in 2018, was responsible for the murders. According to USA Today, this claim relied largely on DNA evidence found at the scene of Sherry Jo Bates' murder in 1966 at Riverside City College in California. Additionally, the Case Breakers claimed that Post had the same shoe size and similar forehead scars to the Zodiac Killer, and that letters to the press contained anagrams of his name. However, police have remained adamant that Bates is not a confirmed victim of the Zodiac Killer, meaning Post was not made a suspect. In 2022, author Jared Kobeck wrote an investigative book titled How to Find Zodiac and hypothesized the killer's identity as Paul Dua, a San Francisco Bay Area man who died in 2007. He found that both Dua and the Zodiac had shown an interest, through writing, in making homemade bombs, particularly of ammonium nitrate and fertilizer. Along with having a similar build to the suspected killer, Dua also worked at a shipyard in Vallejo at the time of the murders.